savings
been saved.
Saving.
But how? So nice to see your smiling faces. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Alex Beltran and I talk about tricks, tips, techniques, and everything real estate lifestyle. So if you're in the real estate business, considering joining the real estate business, or you just want to expand your knowledge on everything that real estate encompasses, you might want to consider subscribing. I've been talking a lot about down payments and real estate strategies, but I think we need to go back to the very, very super basics. How to save money, to have money to invest into real estate. And the other thing that I'm going to talk about today is the rules of the game. In this case, the rules of how to obtain a real estate loan. So let's jump into it. First things first, you have to know the rules of the game because if you have no goals, you cannot score. And unless you're going to buy houses all cash, chances are you're probably going to get a home loan. In order to do this, you have to go to your local bank or your credit union and apply for a real estate loan. And typically lenders are going to ask for 4 major things. Número uno. Credit. You're going to try to get your credit up as high as humanly possible. Simply put, the higher the credit score, the more banks are going to bend over backwards for your business. Anything above a 760, banks are going to give you lender credits. They'll probably waive a couple fees, and they'll do anything to get your business. And typically anything below a 699 is when they start tacking on unnecessary fees and cutting into your profit. Life is so different from real life, so keep in mind that with an FHA loan, you can actually qualify with a 580 credit score. Número dos. Lenders will also want to see at least 2 years of your tax returns. Lenders want to make sure that your income is consistent at minimum. Ideally, you would want it to gradually scale up throughout time, but consistent is good enough. So if you know that you're going to buy real estate within the next couple of years, make sure to save, make sure to kind of reduce the amount of deductibles that you make, because at the end of the day, lenders look for your net income after deductions. Número tres. They're probably going to want to look back to as far as 6 months of bank statements. This is to see how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. They will scrutinize your spending habits because they're going to be lending you hundreds of thousands of dollars. You'd probably do the same thing if you were in their shoes. We all obviously have to pay for food, rent, car notes, you name it. But if there's a lot of cash withdrawals or even deposits, they will question you about it. Obviously, if you have a proper explanation for it, then no problem. But if your parents are giving you extra cash to make your bank account seem bigger than what it really is, they're really not gonna like that. The bank will also wanna make sure that you're not running at a deficit, meaning that you're making $7,000, but you're spending $10,000. That's not good. Número cuatro. The last thing that they're going to look at is cash reserves. Typically, banks are going to want you to have at least 2 months minimum of cash reserves to make sure that you can pay for the house for at least 2 months. Some banks do want more, and I highly recommend that you ask your lender how much in reserves they're going to want. Because I've had cases where deals have come to a grinding halt because we had to wait for the next week's check to come in so that they can meet the minimum reserve. And I'm gonna tell you, sellers will give you an earful because this is typically the last step before funding or closing. And everyone's already waiting for their money. The reason why banks want you to have cash reserves is so that you keep paying for the house. The last thing you want to do is exhaust all your money the previous month and then come month 2, you don't have enough money to pay for the mortgage. So it does serve a purpose. So now that we know what we're aiming for, let's get to the fun stuff. Saving for your down payment. With the exception of a 0% down VA loan, banks are typically going to want you to put a down payment. It's the bank's way of saying that you're risking some of your own money in the deal. No one wants to lose money, and this is how the bank hooks you, at least psychologically speaking. Also, in the event of a foreclosure, you lose a percentage of your money as well. Now, as for down payments, I'm sure that you keep hearing that you have to have 20% down, and this scares a lot of people because the average home in the United States is $250,000, and 20% of that is $50,000, plus closing costs, which is roughly about 1% of the sale price. I don't know why exactly 20% down seems to be engraved into everyone's head, but let me go on ahead and dispel that myth. I literally just talked about a 0% down VA loan, which is a veteran's loan, which is exactly what it sounds. This particular loan is exclusive to military personnel. There is an FHA loan with a 3.5% down, and if you ask your lender, there are some conventional loans that are as low as 5% down as well. You just simply have to ask. Now, anything under 20% down, they will tack on a PMI, otherwise known as a private mortgage insurance. This is added to your loan, or sometimes lenders allow you to pay for this upfront. This is to ensure the mortgage in the event of a foreclosure. Nothing to be scared of, it's not the end of the world. An average PMI is roughly about 1% of the loan annually. One thing that a lot of people do is get the home at a low down payment, and then once they get 20% equity, they refinance the house, removing the PMI and also getting a lower monthly payment in the process. Refinancing is basically renegotiating the terms on your loan. I know that was a lot of information in the beginning, but you have to know what you're aiming for. Now, 3% down, 20% down, it doesn't matter, the strategies are the same. Obviously, one is going to take a little bit longer than the other. The first thing you're going to want to do is make saving your priority. Yes, this means that you will have to scale back on a lot of things. Look, I know that a bunch of these financial gurus are going to tell you, don't go out, don't get coffee, don't eat, don't buy coffee, move into your car, stop paying for Netflix, do not turn the air conditioner on, stop cutting your hair. And yes, while those things will save you money, but you aren't living either. And every minute that you're not living, you're just dying. Let's be real, it's the little things like coffee and air conditioning that keep us all sane. So what I recommend is track your spending. I know it's scary, but sometimes you'll be surprised how many things you're paying for that you don't really need. You can relocate that money to saving for real estate. There are apps, which I'm gonna link in the description down below, that help you with this process. Now, I'm not sponsored by any of these apps, but you know, it'd be cool if they did sponsor me, so hint hint. Lol. My personal favorite is mint.com. It breaks down all your spending so that you can see exactly where all of your money is going. It allows you to set goals, categorize your spending, and look at your credit report. It's the basics that you need to achieve your financial goals. The next thing is passive saving. My next favorite app is Stash. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer, Stash is a little more of an app that's geared to buying stocks, ETFs, and IRAs, which I will get to in just a moment. But Stash also offers Roundup, where you link all your cards to the app and it rounds up all your change and sends that to your account. So if you pay, let's say $4.50 for Starbucks, it just rounds it up to $5. It takes that 50 cents and takes it over to your account. You'll be surprised how much money you are making and how much you're passively saving. Acorn is another app that does the same thing. The difference is that Acorn automatically buys stocks and ETFs for you. At least with Stash, you can basically use it as another bank account. The next thing you're going to want to do is automate your savings, which means that as soon as a check hits your bank account, it automatically disperses the money into a savings account. Out of sight, out of mind. All you're going to want to do for this is go to your bank and let them know, hey, anytime a check hits my bank account, move it to this account, boom, you're done. Simple. By saving and lowering your expenses, you also lower your debt to income ratio, which also helps you in obtaining that loan. The next thing you're going to want to have to do, and I get it, this might sting a little, but you're going to have to start making more money. I get it, it's not easy, we can't all get the raise, I get it, I get it. You're also going to have to learn how to multiply what you're currently earning. Now, I know I mentioned stocks, ETFs, and IRAs. They are vital. We all have to retire sometime, and these are necessary to do so. In fact, I highly recommend having a good understanding of the stock market. But for this particular scenario, that isn't the way to go. Those particular products are long-term investments. Chances are that if you're saving for a house, you're probably going to buy it within 1 to 5 years, and putting your money in the stock market for that short of time is too risky, and your money simply won't multiply within that time span. I get it, we all want to get home, we all want to rest, we all want to be with family. I get it, but you're gonna have to put extra effort to make some more money quicker. You can check out Gary Vee's strategy for reselling things on Amazon. I'll go on ahead and link that in the description as well. The one thing that I did is turned hobby into cash. I love motorcycles, so what I did was got on Craigslist, found beat up motorcycles, fixed them, and resold them at a profit. In essence, turning my hobby into a side hustle. If you like art, sell art. There are plenty of ways to make extra cash. You just have to make sure that the money that you make is saved religiously. Live below your means and you will accomplish your goals. In this case, it's to obtain a house, since you're watching this video. What I don't recommend as a side hustle is things like Uber and Lyft. Those aren't really side hustles. In fact, you have to work like super full-time just to make a profit on those. This may seem daunting, but I promise you that the sacrifice is fucking worth it. Question of the day, what side hustle do you do? Please comment down below. I'm hoping that your answer will inspire other people, because that's the type of channel that this is. We inspire our community. That's it for this video, folks. If you liked it, go on ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And catch you guys next week. Peace.